In this series, I'm going to be scratch bashing some kind of monster out of whatever I find in these 3 randomly selected Kinder Eggs. I do, however, know that all of these Kinder Eggs will contain an animal of sorts. The fun part is taking the chocolate off. This one's already broken. I'll deal with that off camera. My first animal is a panda. I think this is a good start. It's a beefy boy. I'm not lying, this is the only Kinder toy I've ever struggled to assemble. It had a weird connection between the black and the white parts of the fur, and it just wasn't very intuitive. I think I knew what I had to do, I just physically couldn't do it. So I struggled for quite a while. I had to look at the instructions, more just to sort of reassure myself that what I was trying to do was the correct thing, and it was. And with that confidence of the instructions, I was able to do it. My second egg, I got a little monkey guy. I was very excited about this because the monkey has very thin limbs and they really contrast with the thickness of the panda. I think that'll make something quite interesting. But it all hinges on whatever the third egg is. The third egg was a hippo, another thick boy, a not furry one, a skin sort of textured one, which texturally also contrasts the other 2. There's a lot of interesting things I can do with this. I think the most interesting place is to try and get a unique head. I thought by turning the hippo head upside down, it kind of makes it slightly unfamiliar, but still keeps it a very sort of bestial face. I had to grind off the eyes and ears from underneath, otherwise it would just be obviously an upside down hippo. The hippo head nicely fit into the white part of the panda. I'm using hot glue. I hate hot glue, it always goes wrong. Obviously, big wide open mouth and his tail, I can repurpose that as a sort of a tongue. Instantly, some sort of monster. I thought the front arms of the monkey looked really funny on the body of the panda. Just using milliputs, so I hold it in place. I think this method was slightly flawed. I tried to do it all at once by just putting the milliput in and then shoving the leg in, but of course the leg fell out. And then I'm sort of trying to create seams with more milliput between the fur and the skin, and I'm adding big eye bulges to sort of make the hippo face less recognizable as an upside down hippo. Just prodding it to give it a bit of texture and make spaces for the eyes to go in later, and I'm blending the fur slightly. I ran out of super glue to reattach the legs because they didn't stick into the milliput. I saw this in the shop, I thought that looks pretty much like super glue, that'll do. And it worked for attaching things, just it didn't dry quickly. I thought this was so thick and globby I could use it to fill in the seams on the side of the hippo mouth. And once I did that, I discovered, oh, this is a really good slime sort of effect. And I thought that'll be good, but of course I'm going to have to paint the model first before I put that on. I'm just putting little sequins for eyes. I chose ones of different size. Also, I didn't have a tool for picking them up very effectively to hand at the moment, so I was improvising. Just sawing off the rear half of the hippo to create sort of more body. I was sort of toying with the idea of having it be weird and bipedal, but it just absolutely did not stand up. So I'm just putting the rear half of the hippo to sort of extend the body, make it more quadrupedal. One idea I had was to put extra limbs close to the face, but I think this is more interesting because it gives it a very long, sort of maney neck. And then I'm using the panda legs because I don't know. I didn't want to use all the monkey legs, and I just removed the hippo legs, so the panda legs were sort of the only choice. Creating more of a fur scene here. It's not really seamless. It sort of creates a bit of like a hump effect. You can visibly see the fold of fur, and I thought it was acceptable. Again, I had the same problem with attaching the panda legs using mini-put instead of glue because I didn't really have much glue, and the glue I was using wasn't drying instantly. I've spray painted the model with grey primer. I've also spray painted the palette. I've covered it with all like different coloured paints I've had, and then I dry brushed some of those paints over other paints so I could just sort of see the effects, just to give you an idea of what colours to use. I'm feeling this guy should be kind of green. It's a bit frog-like. He looks a bit swampy, so I'm going to paint his skin parts green. This is just a cheap acrylic that I got from the range. I'm going to be honest, I intended to go back over the rear area with more milliput to build it up because the legs were like flimsy, they're not sticking on hard at the time I was adding that milliput. But then I sort of forgot before I sprayed it, and then I sprayed it and I thought, well actually I'd run out of spray, so I just sort of I left it, and I figure it kind of looks alright. It looks like the rear end of a sheep, it's sort of shaggy. I'm going over the fur in brown, because I thought green and brown, swampy works. Then I'm dry brushing that brown with some sort of beige colour to sort of bring out the fur texture. I'm painting the tongue red as sort of an undertone, but I'm going with a little brush into the inside of the mouth and all those little bits that are very fiddly. I'm going around the eyes as well, just sort of give them a bit of a, you know, the eyes are red around. I'm dry brushing the tongue with sort of a very bright pink because I thought that really contrasted with the green nicely. And I'm going in the little parts with the brush that were difficult to reach. Another really interesting contrast, the bright yellow eyes. I think that and the green and the pink sort of really makes this look kind of like it's come out of a nuclear waste swamp. Just painting the teeth ivory, sort of standard teeth colour. I'm going over the green with a much brighter, vibrant green, just like the raised areas, just to highlight them. I'm doing this manually, I'm not going to dry brush this. The rumpus was quite difficult to paint, just because it's such a flat area and I don't have nice brushes and I don't have nice paint thinners. I just have the cheapest stuff. Doing the hands as well, just so they stand out a bit. I'm just dabbing it with a sort of an oil wash I made out of mineral spirits and I don't know if it was burnt sienna or dark sienna, just brown oil paint and spirits. I'm just dripping that all over, and that's going to dry in all the recesses. Got some gloss varnish just to make the mouth look wet and realistic. Yes, and the eyes as well, wet eyes. And then I thought it would be really good to use that glue from earlier to create like a slobber effect that I saw when I made accidentally. This time I'm going to do it on purpose. And yeah, it looked really cool. It looks really cool. Except it's not cool. This glue removes paint. It took the paint off in certain areas. You can just barely see it because my camera is not quite in focus. I'm just gonna paint over those bits again whilst I was at it, because I didn't fancy repeating the entire process. I just went straight on with the pink, and that sort of made everything bright. And then I went straight on with the green. So I just sort of covered everything with that green again to make it uniform, so it didn't just have like a bright spot in the cheek, and it sort of made everything look a lot more exaggerated, sort of like a 90s mutant cartoon monster. and it's done.